Hey, welcome back to another edition of Open Shutter, a very sunny edition of Open Shutter, and have the pleasure of welcoming Andrew on. So thanks for taking the time, Andrew.
No, thank you for inviting me. I'm excited to be here, and
Yeah,
yeah,
it's your first podcast in life, like as a guest.
on live, yeah, as a guest, I'm here
Yeah,
for sure. I've done a few podcasts, different things before, but yeah,
nice.
I went through some of your content, and definitely, I like what you do.
Yeah, it's pretty casual, right? Just try to get people on
Yeah.
and chat about whatever it is that they do. Yeah, I guess maybe like a softball question is, well, what's the secret of life? No, I'm just joking. Um, What's this,
Dang,
what's your secret to success, man? I really want to know what your secret to success. No, I mean, like honestly, for the people like watching and listening, like, what do you want people to know about Andrew, man?
no, I mean, just in a nutshell, I guess in terms of like my passions, I love photography. I also love nature, and it's kind of what I'm doing on the side right now.
Yeah,
I do work, a 9 to 5 as my steady.
sure.
However, on my time that I have to myself, I get to, you know, if you go through my content, it's a lot of nature, wildlife. That's kind of what I enjoy. It's also what I studied, so that kind of goes hand in hand
Oh,
with
really?
that. Yeah,
Study how?
I went to the University of Toronto and I studied conservation biology, environmental
Cool.
science. That's kind of what I studied.
Yeah.
Um, and so it's always been a passion of mine. When I was a little kid, I remember as far as I can remember, I used to be watching TV, and my dad and mom would put on Steve Irwin. I don't know if you know who that
Right.
is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He died though,
Okay,
right? Like he got
he died. Yes, he
attacked
died.
by yeah,
He died doing conservation, so what he loved. And so
yeah.
I remember I watched him growing up like every single day, and I was like, I want to be just like him. And it's funny, I actually ended up studying that in life, and now I'm doing
Really?
it on the whole documentary side and photography, diving a little bit
Huh.
into videography. So that's kind of a bit
Yeah.
of what I do.
So is
Yeah.
that also like your actual job too? Is in
Uh,
conservation? Like is that?
no, although I work in environmental affairs. So yes, I do
Yeah.
have conservation a bit to what I do.
Yeah.
And I deal with a lot of like other companies, I guess, in sort of I'm in the Peel region, so in Sissaga,
Yeah.
I guess around the GTA, I guess.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, just kind of what I do as well, like for my job, but also what I do on the side,
Really?
which is more of the visual side of things, I guess. You
Sure.
can call it
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's fun too, right? Kind of like documenting the process or documenting what's going on around you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess everyone has their own like hobbies. I like being outdoors. I've always liked to be outdoors.
Yeah.
I like hiking and fishing and just
Sure.
camping, things like that. I've always enjoyed that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is just another layer onto that, I guess. So yeah.
Right. So you always have the camera with you if you're hiking or walking around or
I
wherever.
try. I
Yeah.
try. Some of my setups are huge, like in terms of they're massive setups, so it's hard to lug them around. But when I try taking my camera with me whenever I go out, because you never know when you're gonna spot something nice.
It's always when you don't have the camera. It's like, I wish I brought the camera. It's like, why didn't I do that?
Exactly. There's
Yeah.
memes that circulate on the internet where
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
when you don't bring your camera, it's like the most wildlife show up. And then when you bring
Yeah.
it, there's nothing. It's a dog
Yeah,
and a
yeah.
cat.
Wow, eh?
Yeah.
Well, now, like, the weather is finally good. I mean, today actually felt like summer, so
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
must be, like, your prime time season for, like, getting out there.
Oh, honestly, like it's a mixture, I'd say, just because
Yeah.
sometimes this is another take. Sometimes in the winter, the trees don't have leaves on them, so you can actually see like certain species better. So
Mhm.
versus like in the summertime, it's thick, so you can't really see things
Right.
very very well. So
That's a good
there's pros
point.
and cons. However, yes, when it's not like -25 outside, not
Yeah.
freezing to death, so there's that give and take.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Also, on the other hand, it's not 30 degrees and you're sweating, dying, standing there. And not to mention, not to scare any would-be adventurers away, but it's tick
Right.
season as well. So,
I know. It's a big
you know,
problem, man. It's a big
it
problem.
is. It really is.
It's a big problem. You gotta check yourself, and you just never
Yes,
know.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So what's your favorite spot in, like, the city for a hike?
Honestly, I have a few. I think so. I live in Mississauga, but in around here, I'd say in about an hour's vicinity, there's a lot of places. If you go up north, you get to like Mono. If you go to like
Right.
northwest, you get to like Elora and things like that. And then if you go all the way like an hour east, it's like Bruges, and then obviously there's little places in Toronto like High Park, and there's always
Yeah.
little pockets. So I tend to go to those places because they're closer. And, it's not a full like day excursion. You can go first half of the day and come back by the afternoon, and you're still good.
Right.
I mean, honestly, when I have time and I'm off work, for example, then yeah, like going like further up north, like 2-3 hours, you start to enter, Algonquin, that region there, and
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
it's beautiful there. So, um, yeah, just a bit of everything. I've also been to like kind of the southern western side, so I guess you can call it like the Hamilton region. There's
Yeah.
like the escarpment,
Yeah.
and so Dundas Peak. All those places are, the beautiful. Especially now, even into fall, gorgeous. The trees are
That's the
beautiful. So
best. I think fall's
yeah,
the best time, man.
yeah, yeah. I
It's
agree.
so good. It's so good.
I agree.
Yeah, man. I love it. I love it. Just trying
Are
to.
you in and around the area?
Yeah, I'm in the Oakville area, so I go
Nice.
to. I go to. I'm around. I'll go to Mississauga, Hamilton, Toronto, wherever. Hamilton is like the waterfall capital of the world.
Okay, okay. Oh
So
yes, oh yes. Oh,
yeah.
I've heard of that somewhere.
It
You
is.
guys have
Like,
the
it's like the most
number. What's the
random
number?
it's the most random fact you've ever like, of the world, not even Canada, like, the world.
That's nuts. That's absolutely nuts. I've
Like
seen a few. I've definitely been to a few. Actually, a while ago during the pandemic, I started this series on YouTube. I
yeah,
never followed up with it.
what was it?
But it was called Chasing Waterfalls. I would travel to a few places in.
CCTLC, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I would travel to a few waterfalls. It was frozen in the middle of winter, but I remember like hearing about that. There's definitely a lot more to explore, but it's definitely something on my list.
Man, well, there's a lot, man.
It is.
I don't think people realize, I guess, how many there actually are, but yeah, it's the waterfall
Yeah,
capital of the world, so who knew? There's actually some really nice spots in Hamilton to
yeah.
check out. Like, I'm not sure people are really aware of it, sometimes. Because I don't know if I don't know, sometimes I think Ontario doesn't do a really good job of like advertising like what they have sometimes, because
The marketing needs
you
to
know
better.
a little bit, especially like these days with like the US and all that stuff going on. So you would think that they would
Yeah,
really kind of push, hey, look at all the things you can do in Ontario this summer. So I don't know.
I know, I
It's one of
know.
those things that I kind of think about, because I'm
Yeah,
watching
I agree.
TV and I'm seeing like ads for like, Chicago or like Los Angeles. I'm like, okay, that's
Yeah,
interesting.
I
So
know. I can feel you on that because I think that whenever I guess Ontario is talked about, it's always talked about in the terms of like Toronto as a city, right?
yeah.
And I mean, Toronto is beautiful. Don't get me wrong. I love Toronto. I love going out in the weekend to
Mhm.
Toronto. It's good. So many things happening. There's always an event. The restaurants are amazing. But I think that there's so much more to it in Ontario. And there's
Yeah.
so many different things to see. And I think that yes, obviously there's the suburbs and stuff, which is not that lively. But there's also the wilderness aspect of things.
Yeah.
There's the outdoorsy aspect of things. And I think that
Yeah.
um, maybe that could be definitely like marketed better, I'd say.
Well, my friend, 3 years ago, he drove from Toronto to Vancouver. He
Wow,
drove
that's
from Toronto to Vancouver.
crazy.
He told me his favorite part was Northern Ontario.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
best
yeah.
part of the whole drive, he told me. So,
That's nuts.
you know, I,
I have not been, but it's on my list. It's on my list.
yeah, he said he drove for like 20 hours and he was still in Ontario. That's how big it
Crazy.
is. Yeah,
That's crazy.
that's what I
He,
mean, right? Like, there's so much out there.
I don't know. He probably got to like Thunder Bay in like 20 hours.
Oh yeah, it was wild, man. It's like, yeah, Northern Ontario, it's a place. So I don't know. I just think that I just don't think we're aware of like how big the province actually is. Because like you said, like you see Ontario, it's like you think Toronto, you think
Yes.
Ottawa, you think London, but we're kind of limited to that kind of
Yep.
like southern portion of the province. But
Yes, yes. Probably because it's the most heavily populated, which I
yeah,
guess that makes
yeah,
sense. But
exactly.
there's so much more to it than
And
just
like
this life. Yeah.
yeah, and think about all like the content you can get, because people aren't up there getting it. Like you could be really kind of like unique in like the marketplace
Yeah,
with like all this stuff that's like, whoa, where's
yeah.
that? Where's this?
I know.
Be
Honestly,
interesting, right?
if I knew a private pilot that was willing to go up and down, I'd
Ah,
hop on that
I got
opportunity because the travel is what's
yeah,
crazy. You
the
know, it's
travel is what's crazy. We all need pilot friends, man.
we
We all
do.
need pilot friends. I mean, I did know a couple of people that were pilots, so
Yeah, yeah.
I should really follow up because
I
sometimes
know. There you go.
it's clutch, you know.
That's
Sometimes,
an opportunity. And honestly, sometimes I know this because I actually have a friend who is he's a pilot, but he's working on being commercial, I guess. So that's
yeah,
his journey.
right,
But what I've heard is sometimes to maintain their license, sometimes they have to take frequent flights. Also adds to their hours.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I was like, you know what? I was thinking about it. You know what? If you ever go up north for one of your training,
yeah.
exercises, take me with you.
Yeah, little pickups, just a little
Exactly.
pick me up. It's not if it's on the
Exactly.
way, it's on the way. It's not really a big
Hey, you
deal.
know exactly. So
I don't know.
it's a good thought.
You can think of all the places you can go. You wouldn't even know. You know, it's
I
kind of
know, I
it's
know.
so. Yeah, man. Summer plans. You know, summer's I guess here. So
I'm
it's
excited,
getting
man.
excited. You
It's been a
know.
long winter.
Yeah, it's been a long 9 months. It's like we just had a baby.
Literally,
Yeah,
literally.
yeah, yeah, for
I feel
sure.
like people who, haven't been to Canada before, when they
Right.
realize, how much of winter we have, it's like, you know what? Our summers are actually smaller than our winters, and
Yeah,
not
it's
even much smaller. So,
I know. Tell me about it, right? Tell me about it. But no, it's good.
yeah.
I'm very excited, man. I just pulled up your IG here. Do you have any photos that you want to that you're proud of that you want to talk
Uh,
about? Like, look at these
on,
wolves, man. Are these wolves or dogs?
So that's a dog, but if you scroll down, you'll find wolves. I
Jesus.
love canids. That's a coyote. That was in
Whoa.
Mississauga. Yeah, that guy. I was driving to a place called the Riverwood Conservancy, and
Yeah, I was just there last week.
oh,
I was
you
just
were
there
okay.
last.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
it's beautiful. And as I was driving there, I on the side at the entrance, I saw this coyote come out of the bushes. I immediately
yeah.
pulled over my car, and I had my camera already waiting for me in my
No
passenger seat
way.
because I was planning on going to take some photos. I literally popped open the moonroof and I got over and I took the photos from my car. So
Legend.
I was so happy to get them. And clearly he was unimpressed with me. He was like, "What are you looking at?"
Yeah. So what lens do you have on there?
So this one is an 800 millimeter lens. So
Oh wow.
it's I shoot with Canon, so it's one of
Yeah,
the
yeah,
RF series. So
yeah.
it's beautiful to get
Nice.
those nice up close photos.
Man.
And yeah, he was definitely wary because it was daytime.
Yeah.
And like these guys. So there's a whole thing with eastern coyotes and western coyotes. These guys are eastern, so anything in Ontario, they're actually I guess you can call them coy wolves or coy dogs because they're mostly mixed. That's why that's what they look like that. That's why they're that large. Coyotes in general are much smaller. This is a
Okay.
random fact that animal fact. Coyotes are much smaller, but the ones here in Ontario are basically coy dogs because
Okay.
at one point they almost went extinct because people basically hunted them to extinction.
Oh wow.
So they basically got reintroduced and then bred and interbred, and so this is kind of what we have now. So coyotes now like are massive. These guys are like huge, like 60, 70 pounds and upwards, so quite
Wow.
large. But yeah, I mean, I think for the most part, people worry about them all the time.
Yeah.
I've heard in the news, but if you kind of
Yeah.
like mind your own business, ignore them,
Mm.
they tend to be more fearful than anything, so they can avoid you as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
I do
Yeah.
think that there's some things to avoid, like some situations to avoid. Like for example, like if you're walking a small dog, definitely don't
Right.
go like off leash or something. It's not the
Right.
smartest thing to do.
Yeah.
Um, if you have a large dog, like I have a dog, he's on the pictures there somewhere.
Mm.
He's 110 pounds, so
Oh wow. Eh?
a coyote is going to ignore us and it's not even going to come close. So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
there's certain situations to be mindful of, I guess, but
Yeah.
as a human being yourself, they'll avoid you.
Yeah.
They're not worried
They're
about you.
pretty. They don't really want to do anything. So I
Yeah.
guess this coyote was like looking for food. Like what's like
He
why?
was eating something in the ground over there. I didn't put the picture of him doing that because
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
but if you scroll to the last picture, you can
Sure.
see you could see that he is
Oh yeah,
see how he's eating something, looking at me
yeah.
while he's
Killed
sleeping.
something. Yeah,
Yeah, so that's kind of what
interesting.
he was doing.
Wow, man,
Um,
great. I mean, it's great timing.
it is. It just
Like
worked
what?
out. I'm happy. I was super happy.
Jeez. Like you had your lens all ready and ready to go. You know, you
It
don't have
was.
to.
It was crazy timing. So honestly, sometimes it's just I went to that day. I actually went looking specifically for birds of prey. That was like
Oh
my
yeah.
target
What are
um,
those?
subject. Birds of prey would be like hawks or eagles
Oh,
or
okay.
like those larger birds.
Got
So
it.
that's kind of what I was looking for. They're more elusive in general, and they fly faster, so it's hard to capture them. So that's what I was looking for. But I found him and I was happy. So yeah, this is my the cats. I
Is
take
this your
pictures
cat?
of. This is my partner's cat actually.
Oh God, look at the
uh,
eyes on it.
I know.
Whoa, bro.
He's mad photogenic. He knows it too. You know, he pulls up. He's always ready to pose. So
What's the cat's name?
his name is Brooklyn.
Brooklyn.
Yes. So
Brooklyn knows what's up, eh? Like
oh, absolutely. He's
Brooklyn knows he's
ready.
got the eyes. Like, oh my
He
God, these
is. He is.
eyes,
He's
man.
gorgeous. He's half Norwegian, half Maine Coon. Like that's his breed.
Really?
And so yeah, he's beautiful. Very naughty. You know,
Really?
very naughty for sure.
Yeah.
Loves to run
Jeez,
around and
man.
bite ankles.
Wow, man.
But
It's great. Great
thank you,
photos, man.
thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
What's
enjoy it. They're great subjects. You know, I can't complain.
yeah. What's like good advice for like shooting your pet? Like, is there advice that you can give people?
Yeah, honestly, shooting your pet, there's a simple answer and there's a hard answer. The simple
Yeah.
answer is, try to sort of um, keep your camera around, especially like handy. Like I said, like I had the camera with me. So when I took the pictures of the coyotes, same thing. When
Yeah.
your pets, they're sometimes when they are in their natural, happy state is when they get the best photos. Like this guy here right now, this photo, he was just kind of happy in his cat
Yeah.
tree, you know. And so I had the camera with me, so I was able to capture these. Whereas sometimes, say, like if you don't have your camera out and then you're trying to like go and get it in the meantime, you'll lose it, right? So
Right.
that's a
Yeah.
simple answer.
Huh.
The more like I guess complex answer would be, try to get their focus. So sometimes when animals look at you, that's so you can see their eyes better and you can see get that. So in order to do that, sometimes you can whistle, you can have little toys. Again, it's all
Mm,
behind the camera, but you basically get the art of like getting them to look at you or
mm,
even look away. Sometimes I get them to look into the light because that
mm.
helps to accentuate their eyes.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, Again, it's hard to do that with wildlife, of course. You're not
Sure.
controlling that, but with
Sure.
your pets, you can do that because you can get them to look here or look there, and so you
Mm,
get that. It's a big life hack to have somebody to help you with that because then
yeah.
they're getting the attention of the animal. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
it's a whole. Usually, when I go shoot pets, pets is probably one of the other industries that I'm involved in because that's sort of bread and butter in terms of clientele.
Yeah.
And Yeah, that's kind of how I usually get the pets to look at me, look away, get those like cinematic type of
Uh,
shots. Even the more
Interesting.
recent ones, if you look at the more recent ones off
Yeah.
Brooklyn himself, you will see him sort of looking away, looking at that at the camera. So yeah, yeah, got him
Oh
just
my God, that's so
posing.
funny. That is so funny.
So you see, he's just
That is
minding his
so
own
funny.
business, but it's like
Yeah,
it's very
yeah.
cinematic. So
Yeah,
that's
I dig
the
it,
vibe
man.
I go for.
I dig it, man. Cool. So like you have clients that you go shoot their pets too?
Yeah, so I
Cool.
like that's sort of like so these are my pets and these stuff that I enjoy, but I also
Yeah.
shoot, I also get booked to go get, I guess people like portraits of their animals in their house. It's your loved one, at this point. It's like another child.
Yeah.
So the same way people have, family portraits in the house, they like to have portraits of their animals, and
Yeah.
I'm all for that idea. I think it's great.
Wow.
So I go and I people book me, and then I go in and I shoot
Wow.
pictures of the animals, and it's not usually not very long, and like usually an hour or two.
Yeah.
That's how long the sessions are,
It's okay.
and in that I can get you can get between 20 and 25, 20 and 35 like photos, and then from then you can just
Yeah.
basically like kind of pick your favorite and go from there. So
Really, eh?
yeah, people do that. People book me for that, and I'm super happy,
Cool.
super grateful for the clients I work with.
Cool. So is it more of like outreach on your part, or people just message you kind
Uh,
of thing?
People message me usually through
Yeah.
social media or through. I used to run like paid ads and things like that. That's usually
Right.
like how I
Cool.
would do some marketing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
also it's word of mouth. People see something and they're like, hey, you know what? You should the that warm touch does help. And so
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
Cool.
very happy to work with anyone. Again, sometimes people have worries like, you know what, but you have these beautiful animals on there. My animal won't look as nice as that. But it's not about it's not about if you have a specific species of animals or even specific breed of animal. It's getting the circumstances right lighting, getting to look in a certain way, and then
Yeah.
it still looks nice. So I'm not picky.
100%.
I actually work as a volunteer thing with this. It's called Paws and Tails.
Oh
They
yeah.
are a cat and animal rescue organization here in Mississauga.
Oh yeah.
Um, yeah, so I actually work with them, and some of the content that they do, especially like their photographs and stuff they take. I actually go and photograph their cats for them. I just help them out with that because I want some of their. I want their animals to help. I just want to help them be adopted. So
Yeah. Sure. Of
so
course.
I help with that, and
Wow. That's
yeah,
cool. You're
something
busy,
nice.
man. You're busy. You're everywhere.
Man, I try to keep busy, but sometimes
Oh,
I'm like,
yeah.
you know what? I get to my bed and I don't even know that the night goes by and the next morning starts again. I'm like, did I even sleep?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, like, how do you? I guess how do you balance it to make sure that you don't get like burnt out kind of thing?
See, the thing is, I think that for me, it's having variety. That's what helps me not get burnt out. Because I
Mm,
feel like if I do the same thing every single day, it gets repetitive, and then I can feel burnt out. So for
yeah.
me, the key is to have variety. So for example, like I manage a few different hobbies, right? So for example, like photography is obviously one that we talking about. It's a hobby, but also a profession. But for example,
Yeah.
like I also like to go fishing, and I also like to
Oh,
like I said, go on hikes or just visiting events. So
yeah.
things like that. And so, yes, I also shoot people, so you can see, animals aren't the only thing.
Animals and people, man. You can't
Animals
forget
and
the
people,
people.
but yeah. So, so the thing is, I feel like that balance is good because if I have to do one thing only for a while, I think I could definitely
Right.
get worn out. But the fact that
Sure.
I do multiple things, it helps out.
Yeah.
I also like try to have like time for myself. I think that's a big one. Whether it's like downtime, I'm turning my phone on, do not disturb, and just turning on the television, and
What a hack.
just
What a
having
hack.
that
Yeah.
time. You need that. I think that people who just go and have no stop, you definitely are asking to
Mm,
get burnt out. That's just the fact of life.
mhm. Mhm, mhm.
So I think having that time to yourself is important. I'm a big movie guy. I love movies, so
Yeah.
I try to watch them, at least once a week. So
Yeah. Anything good
yeah.
lately? Do you wanna tell the
Yeah,
people?
I watched Mission Impossible yesterday, the
Oh,
the
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 second half?
the new
Okay.
one.
Good. IMAX?
Uh, I watched it in VIP. Like I like
Yeah.
the seats. I like the
Yeah.
sitting back and it's comfortable, like a little
Yeah.
recliner sofa. Yeah,
Worth it? Worth
amazing,
it?
worth it. Amazing movie. I think the first half I was a little confused of what was happening because it was a follow up from the first one that happened
Yeah.
in the last movie. So,
Right.
my tip to anybody who's gonna watch that movie is watch the last one and then watch this one right after, so you'll follow along
Of
better.
course. Yeah.
But then yeah, once the action started, man, Tom Cruise is crazy, like absolutely crazy.
That guy is yeah, there's not gonna be another so is that it for Tom Cruise? Like, is he done with Mission Impossible now?
I didn't read everything. I heard it's the final one in the series, but I
Like,
didn't read into it, so I wouldn't
oh,
know.
yeah.
But I heard somewhere online that it said it was potentially the last one. But
Yeah.
you know what?
I don't know,
The way
man.
they end, I'm not gonna give anything away because
Sure.
I hate spoilers. But
Yeah,
the way
yeah.
it ended, he could carry it on.
Of
So
course you
that's
could. When you're
so
making money,
yeah,
anything's possible.
exactly, yeah.
Wow, man. Wow. Well, it's good that you keep it fresh, I think that's what I mean. Like I think people kind of get stuck into like a niche or into like a little box, and it's hard to break out sometimes because that's like what you're kind of known for. Like to me,
Absolutely,
it's
yeah.
like you need to do different things just to kind of keep yourself challenged,
Yep,
you
yep.
know?
I agree with that. I think the what do you do to keep yourself,
Oh
I guess
man,
just
it's all
balanced
I
and
mean,
working?
honestly, I mean, I do work a lot, either because I make videos like full
Sure.
time and then I make my own videos and I do this podcast. So like I go to
Nice.
the gym or I go for runs outside, or like you said, like I totally like don't even like I put my phone in a drawer and like don't see it for like 6 hours and just like step away, because sometimes I feel like I've kind of like become a zombie and I can't really think straight because like
Okay.
I've like consumed too much. Like
Yes,
when I
yes. I know that feeling.
consume too much, then I can't really think of my own stuff.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
when I need to like step away from like the online world and like go outside for a walk or something. Honestly, I'm trying to like it sounds really like silly, but I'm trying to see people in real life more. You know what I mean? Like
Hey,
it sounds
not a bad
really
idea.
strange, but
It's not a
like
bad idea.
I just feel like I just talk to people online all the time. I know that that's what we're doing now, but I'm talking about people that I know
Yes,
like from
yes.
years back. Like all we do is just
Yeah.
like chat online, but we don't actually
Meet up and
go for
stuff, right?
coffee and like chat in
Yeah.
person. So
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
trying to
I
do
think
that more. You know what I mean? Like it's a different dynamic when there's no
it's
screen.
it's a lost art, man. It really is.
Well, it's
You
just
know,
I think we just get like we get comfortable with just
yes,
kind of like chat
yes.
like you're texting your buddy, you're texting whoever, but so yeah, let's just go for a coffee and like let's not look at our phones for now. I don't know. It's become. I'm trying to do more of that for me because I think it reduces anxiety when you just see
Yeah.
someone in real life.
Yeah. I agree.
You know what I
I agree.
mean? So
I
that's what I'm
agree.
trying to do more of this year.
That's
Just more
awesome.
of that. Yeah, I don't know. It sounds really weird, but like
No, that's not
I was
weird at
watching
all.
someone else. I was watching someone else on YouTube. He was kind of like he was the one that kind of gave me the idea. He was saying, you know, when you talk to someone online, it messes with your mind because you think you're actually like having a conversation with them, but you're
Okay.
actually not because you're not there. Like he was kind of, anyway, it's
Yeah.
kind of hard to explain, but he's basically saying, go see people in real life because you'll
It's
just feel
different.
better.
It's absolutely
You
different.
know,
There's people who can have full conversations online, but you meet them in person, they can't talk properly.
that's what I
it's a
mean.
big thing.
You've lost
And
like, yeah, you've lost like the art of conversation.
yes, absolutely. And I
You
think
know,
it's a big one for a lot of it's this is actually like a side tangent conversation, but a lot of like kids who were in high school or towards the end of their high school or did most of the high school during that pandemic period when they came into
yes,
university, it's like they missed the socialization, you know? And so
it's huge, man. It's huge.
I think that it was it's the world did definitely take a little bit of a hit in terms of that socialization aspect
Yeah.
for those years that we were locked down.
Yeah.
Um,
You just lose that ability to be in a social setting. So,
I
and
agree.
honestly, it goes in hand with like having a business. Like you have like a photo business or a video business. You have to go see people in real life. You have to go see
Oh,
clients.
absolutely,
You have to sell them. You have to be able
absolutely.
to like articulate what you want to do, and
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that's a skill, right? Like not like that's a skill. Like you can't
It
just
is.
so
It is. People can see stuff online. They can like your content, which is
yeah,
good. Which is definitely the
sure,
first half, I'd say, right? But if you can't sort of maintain a conversation, if you can't, follow up or even just,
yeah.
work with them or being, somebody who can, work with people, you can make it like you can push it forward. I'd say.
No, you can't move it along. And also, I think you need to be able to listen.
Yes,
Like
I
actually
agree.
listen to someone like what are you actually telling me? Because I think a
Yes,
lot of people listen to like respond, but sometimes they're not really listening to what you're saying. And I think that's when the client relationship might get a little bit strained because you're not really hearing what the client is telling you. So I think
yes,
listening
I agree.
is a big part
Yeah, huge.
because yeah, because I was saying this the other week. It's like when someone's paying you for something, like you have to, no matter how crazy it is, whatever they're saying, you still have to listen and respond and say, okay, I hear you, but that's cool. But I also have this idea. You need to be able to kind of present a solution to whatever it is that they're asking for. You know what I mean? Like,
I agree.
it, it's,
It's if you don't listen to what they're saying, uh, your solutions will always be sort of um, like the same thing, but just different client. It wouldn't
yeah,
be tailored to
yeah,
an individual request,
yeah, exactly. Like,
and that makes I guess that makes a huge difference, especially in the artistic world. With when somebody wants something like whether it's for an event or like something personal,
yeah,
you want that personal touch, right? And so I
of
think
course.
that's what makes the difference there. So
Well, I think, yeah, exactly. I think, when you give a personal touch to a client, it's like, oh, you really like listening to me. You really understand me, or you really want to work with me. Because a lot of
Yeah,
people just want to make a quick buck and like move on.
exactly, exactly.
It's like, oh, I want this to go viral. It's like, well, we all do, but that's just not the way it works.
I know,
Like
right?
that's
Right.
like that's what one of my boss would say. My boss would be like, oh, just make this video go viral. I'm like, it's not really how it works. So
What industry do you work in? You said you
it's like a
do videos, right?
it's like a landscape home reno demo company.
Nice,
It's
nice.
kind of
That's
like
awesome.
what you call it, home and garden, but like a lower
Sure,
scale.
sure.
So they do all kinds of stuff for homes and do but before, afters, during, do like have like staff walkthroughs, whatever the case is. So
Are you a drone pilot? Do you like send your drone in and do
yeah, I
like
have a
your?
drone. Well, I mean, I have the Mini 3. I mean,
Yes,
with the Mini
yes,
3, you don't need a license. I mean,
yes,
with
yes.
it, with the drone stuff is cool. Like, I mean, it's fun. Like, you get some really cool stuff, and
Yeah,
I get some really cool stuff for me. It just gives the video a totally different perspective.
yeah, yeah,
It
yeah.
makes it really
'Cause I've
cool.
seen those videos online where some people, especially the I guess the home reno companies, or even
Yeah.
I guess the realtors, they send in like a drone to like get like the
Yeah.
view, like it's an FPV type
Yeah.
of thing.
Yeah. FPV
So
stuff. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think that's really, really cool. I haven't
Yeah.
tried that myself, but I heard it's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, the FPV stuff's pretty cool. But to me, it's like you could have like, this is my opinion. You could have really amazing footage, but if there's no like context or no like story behind
yeah,
it, then
yeah.
someone just kind of moves along and doesn't really remember what they just saw.
I
Like,
agree. I
you
agree.
need to like the people that I work with, like they're not the most comfortable on camera.
Okay,
So it's a little bit of like prodding and say, okay, don't worry, this isn't live television. We can
we can
redo it.
edit
But I
this.
mean, it's just a constant. So
Yeah, I
anyway,
hear you on that, man.
it's like
I
a
hear you.
struggle to kind of act natural. It's like whenever you tell someone act natural, it's like, what do you mean? It's like it's
Yes.
impossible to act
They
natural.
stand
So
there like, what do you mean,
yeah,
man?
you get like they see like the red light. It's like, well, you're on now.
Yeah, yeah,
But I mean, it doesn't
yeah,
have. I mean, it could be really like anything. Like, you need context, you need a story, you need some sort of message to like convey what the person is looking at, or else like the person just moves on. I think that's
I
where the challenge comes in. Is like, I was just thinking this the other day. It's like people usually respond to it, like if someone gets emotional about something, like if they
yeah,
actually have like a feeling towards something, they're more likely to engage with it, right?
yeah,
Because they
I
actually
agree.
feel
Yeah,
something. It's like, oh, I need a comment.
yeah,
So like, to
yeah,
me,
yeah.
it's like,
It
to
evokes
me,
something.
yeah, like that's what you need to do. Like, and that's not easy. Like, that's like, you can't do that on everything. But I mean, if you try, then at least sometimes you're gonna hit something.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I think that's where true storytelling comes in. Like, that's what separates a lot of people, is being able to like convey emotion or create some sort of feeling, or because we're just bombarded by Instagram and TikToks, and people just like,
yeah.
I heard the other day, it's like the average attention span is like less than 20 seconds.
I think it's like
Like,
seven or something.
it's like,
Like it's
yeah, it's
crazy.
something
It's
like
crazy.
insane, like seven
Yeah, yeah.
seconds. Like, how the hell are you gonna do anything in that?
It's nuts.
So
It's
like, what are
nuts.
you gonna do? Like, what are you gonna do in seven
I
seconds?
know.
Like, what
I
like
know.
what is it? So
That's it's the whole
like, think
crux
about
of
that.
social media marketing. It's the whole crux of it,
Seven
trying to get
seconds, do
into
it.
trying to get the reels on there, trying to get
Man,
them
it's
to fall in
wild,
love in
man.
the first 3 seconds, so they watch it for the next 7 seconds.
Oh man, it's so hard, man. It's so hard, like, because
I
everyone
hear
just
you,
like, it's
man.
just like, I
I
don't know,
know.
But I mean, I do like. I don't know. I think there still is a place for long form content. I think people like want that, because I think people want to,
Yeah,
like I
I agree.
said, be like moved or be inspired or feel something, or like maybe we're just gonna get tired of watching TikToks all day because our
There,
brains are
there's
gonna be
something that
fried.
gets there's something that gets everybody going, I would say. Like for example, for me, like yes, during the day when I'm busy, when
Yeah.
I'm work or I'm doing like my photo work or editing or something like that, I can't really sit around and watch long
Right.
form videos, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
However, when I'm in my bed at night and I'm just trying to get educated on something new, I love long form videos. I love like learning about something, whether it's like camera gear or like something to do with
Right.
like wildlife or something. Something one of my passions, right? So I think that, like you said, there's a time and place. and
Yeah.
I don't think it'll ever go away because I think a lot of people like watching longer videos on YouTube,
Yeah,
and
sure.
I think that's why the market's still
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. I think that's why
Uh,
podcasts do so well,
I agree. I agree.
because
I
people
think
just want to listen to a conversation, right? I think that's why
I agree.
podcasts
I
have,
agree.
have really exploded, because I think people just want a natural conversation with like no like agenda usually, so
I agree. What got you into speaking of podcasts? Like, what got you into, I guess, doing podcasts?
great
Yeah.
story, great. So this started during COVID, but my buddy
Yeah.
started it. But it was just
Okay.
me and him and a couple other guys, and we just talked about photography or whatever else we talked about. And that went on for like a year and a half, and those guys got busy, and then I got busy, and then I came back, but it was just me. I'm like, well, I can't do it by myself. Like, well, I'm just gonna talk by myself. That's weird. So I'm like, let me just ask people.
Okay.
So, and I think honestly, that's the power of a good podcast, is to have different people on all the time. Like,
Yeah. No,
get
that's
someone
that's
on because you
awesome.
get someone totally different
Yep.
perspective,
Yep.
different approach, different story. And you never know. Like, I don't know. I think, everyone's got something to say. Like, people tell me sometimes, oh, I just picked up a camera last year. I'm like, great, that's great. You have a totally fresh
Yep.
perspective than someone that's
Absolutely.
done it for 20 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think people like. I think sometimes people want to be asked too. I think people don't necessarily want to volunteer. They don't want to, I don't know, come across, I don't know, whatever, ego or whatever the thing is. Like, they want to be
Sure.
asked, or they want to be invited. So I mean, that's
I
how,
think
so
it's
anyway, that's how it started, and
that's awesome, man.
it's
That's
gone
really
pretty
cool.
good. I don't know. You meet a lot of people, and it's been fun, right? Because you never know what you never know. Like, you never know what
Yeah.
someone's gonna say. Like, people have come on here, and sometimes they like say stuff about their personal life. I had no idea that happened. So you just don't know. Like,
Wow.
okay, yeah, some
You
really,
probably hear it all.
yeah, some really deep stuff. Like
Wow.
depression, or like
Wow,
depression, or
man.
like, or
That's
some
that's
like
that's
really
incredible.
heavy, some
How
really,
do you handle when I feel like I've for most people who've ever spoken to me in my life, I'm an extrovert, so I can
yeah,
talk to a tree if I had to. I
yeah,
can
yeah,
make I'm comfortable making conversation, and
right,
clearly you seem very comfortable with conversation as well. I mean, this is what you do.
yeah,
But
yeah,
have you come across somebody that is awkward? When you got
yeah,
life started and they didn't know how to
yeah,
talk? Is
yeah.
that been
Yeah,
something you
it's
probably
happened a few.
experienced?
It's happened a few times. I mean, with that stuff, you have to find a way to kind of like get them to like lighten up,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
kind of just like ease up a little bit, and not get so freaked out about the pod. Like, it's
Yeah.
so like, I don't know. I mean, sometimes I'll try to speak about something from my personal life to kind of get them to speak
Sure.
about stuff. So I'll try to open up first, and then that kind of gets them to feel
Yeah.
better about
Personal sharing always helps.
yeah, kind of like, like I said at the start, it's like you can ask me questions too. It's not a one-sided thing. Like, I think that's what makes a good conversation, is like having it both-sided. But I mean, yeah, I don't know. You just never know. Like I said, like once like the red light's on, it's like, okay, here we go. We shall see.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Yeah.
no, I've never had something where it's been like total silence, but it's kind of more about me speaking more at the start to kind of move it
Sure.
along and get them to open up, and then once they hit on something they get really passionate about, then
They're good. They're good.
they're off. Yeah, because I think
It's an art.
when
You're good at it.
yeah, I'm good, or I guess I've just had a lot of practice too, right? Just a lot of practice about, because
Yeah.
like my thing is like I don't take myself so seriously. Like, I'm
Yeah.
just a guy like doing something. Like, I'll do it. I'll have some fun. Like, I don't like whatever I do. I take pride, but I also don't take it so seriously. Where it's like, I'll
Yeah.
just throw this up and see what happens, and then just move on to the next thing. Where people get so hung up on making it so perfect, like everything's got to be so perfect, like the lighting and the audio, and like it's like, and that's where people get stuck, right? It's like,
Yeah.
I'd rather have like a more of a body of work to kind of show someone, right? Versus less body, because like, I don't know, like I think this is episode 155, right? So you do 150 episodes. Someone might go, "Oh, that's interesting," and then
Yeah.
someone might
Yeah.
say, "Oh, I've done 10," because they've been so hung up on it being so
Yeah.
perfect. Like,
Yeah. No,
what
it's
what like what like
going.
what has more impact? Like, okay, you've done
Yeah.
how many?
Yeah.
It's like, okay. But I mean,
No, that
I'm not saying that for me. I'm just saying in general, like people just need to like push it out there constantly.
no. You're absolutely right. This is nothing to do with it. Like, it's nothing to do with the fact that you have these podcasts. It's just the
Yeah.
truth. putting content out there, especially if that's what your goal is, like
Yeah.
if you continuously aim for perfection, like which is I'm speaking from experience. Like I've done this before where I'm like, I've edited this photo, I've edited the same photo like 3 times
Yeah.
already. Should I post
Yeah.
it? I'm like holding on to it and like you go into this cycle of like self-doubt and you go to the whole thing like this is gonna be good enough, whatever. I posted the photo before and I only got like 2 likes, you go
I
through this
know.
whole
Happens
thing,
to
right?
everyone. Happens to
And
everyone.
the thing is, you have to kind of bridge that and be like, you know what, just go and do it, because eventually, like I said, it's sometimes the photos you don't even think too much about the ones that actually gain the traction that you were looking for.
All the time, man. All the
I've
time.
posted, I've done, I guess, various videos. Video is not my primary, platform, but I still do video because I mean, as a photographer, you kind of had to bridge into video a little bit.
Sure.
Um, and I remember like I've had one video in my life go viral, one video,
Yeah. How did it go? How many views?
like I think a little bit over 1.5 million, maybe 1.7 likes
Jeez,
in
man.
that
What was it
range.
about?
It was about, so if you look at my Instagram, it's the red moon. It's called a blood moon. I didn't. The video is actually, it went viral on TikTok. That's where it went viral.
Ah,
But the picture is the one that I posted on Instagram. And so, anyways, I just posted a video, same concept I always do.
this?
Yep, that one there. Yep, that's the one. So it's not viral on here, but that's
Yeah.
what I put. That's the video I made a video on this. And so yeah, I posted it, just sort of like, my camera getting ready for the shot and then the shot itself. And then I just posted it and it just happened to be perfect timing, a special event. People around the world heard about it. And it just, yeah, it went viral. Like I remember like I
Wow.
slept, when I slept, it was, I had a few hundred views and I was like, okay, it's kind of cool. And I slept.
Yeah.
And then, and I've never had more than a few hundred views for any of my other TikToks.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, whatever. I go to sleep, and then my phone keeps dinging, and I'm like, okay, maybe something. I don't know. I checked it. I'm like, it says like 1,000 views. I was like, oh, okay, that's
Nice.
kind of cool. That's pretty nice. And then I sleep, and then I see next morning like
Yeah.
5,000 views. I'm like, wait, what is happening? And I
Yeah.
call my friends, and I'm like, hey, listen, yo, like, you should see this. Like every time I refresh my page, I see another 1,000. Like it just added on, and so within like I think 3 days, it just like it was like every, how you have a little notification bar in your
Yeah.
TikTok. It was
Yeah.
maxed out. It was like 99 plus, 99 plus. So every
Oh,
time I
wow.
refreshed, 99 plus. It was just, I don't know what
Wow.
happened, but it caught the right algorithm. That's
Caught the
essentially what happened.
algorithm, man. Caught the
Exactly.
algorithm.
And so I had people in the comments talking to each other, talking to everybody else, talking to me.
Right.
I was trying to respond. I just couldn't. Like I just trying to like people's things and trying to like go past it. But man, it was like
Good though,
I was like,
right?
wow,
Oh, good
it
though,
felt
right?
really good. It was like, man, I've done social media for so many years, and I haven't had it like that before. So I was like, wow,
Wow.
this is really cool. And so I'm definitely grateful for that, like
Yeah.
that event. And it hasn't happened again, but I've done some I've done some some like I guess like research into like why that went viral. Try to figure out some things that I
Yeah.
can think about that can stand apart. Like what's special about this one? Like what was it?
What
Was it
was it?
because of
Yeah.
the photos are nice? I had other photos that are nice too. So why did this one go and not that one? Right. So
Right.
I came to some few conclusions, but I mean I've not been able to replicate it yet. But you know what? Maybe in the future soon.
Wild, man. Wild.
Yeah.
You get any sponsor questions? Like
Uh,
any,
I haven't got sponsored questions from
yeah.
that video exactly,
Wow.
but my goal is eventually to definitely be sponsored by certain companies because I do, like I said, I want to work, like I said, like in that field of like conservation stuff, and to do that,
Right.
you usually try to get sponsored by larger companies like Nat Geo and
Yeah.
like those larger companies that send you out to do these documentaries and things like that. So and then obviously companies like like Canon and things like that would be great to be an
Yeah.
ambassador.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Exactly. You need a photo and video for that too. You need like a documentary style with
absolutely. Yeah,
that'd be
yeah. It's something
interesting.
I'm working on. Video is definitely a whole different world. You know this.
Yeah.
You make videos, so you know this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, yes, having the equipment is one thing, but the other thing is also just being able to edit in bulk and things like that. That's
Yeah.
the most time consuming part. Because yes, it does take a long time to edit like professional grade photos for sure. However,
Mm.
video is a whole different thing because I've done
Mm.
video editing before, at least at a semi pro level, nothing like professionally.
Right.
And even that took me forever. Like the
Yeah.
video itself was
Yeah.
6 hours of footage. It took me 6 hours to edit it, and the video is eventually going to be like 30 minutes. You know what I'm saying? So, or like less, or 10 minutes. So it's like it's
Right.
just so much time that goes into it. You're
It's
spending like
crazy.
the whole
I
night.
know.
So
I
you
know.
know
I
this.
know. Yeah. Well, it's like once again, you need to like create like a story out of it. You want, like I said before, you got to
exactly.
create some sort of emotion, some sort of
I agree.
feeling, some sort of like something to like move the viewer to like
I
a
agree.
call to action kind of thing. Especially with like conservation, especially with like I guess climate change going on and all that stuff. Like
Yeah.
it's a big problem, right? So
It's huge. It's huge.
yeah,
Honestly, there's a lot of pressing matters in this world. Like it's not the only thing that's an issue.
sure.
But I
Yeah.
think that being able to tackle certain things, especially like giving it priority is good, and setting priorities are good. I think that I definitely am a firm, believer in, in the future when I have a family, when I have children, I want them to be
Yeah.
able to, enjoy,
Sure.
nature the way I did, and the fact that, back in the day, it's gone progressively worse, and I think that's the sad part and sad reality.
Yeah.
Cities are getting bigger, nature is getting smaller, but I think Canada in general has done a good job. I think Canada as a whole is
Mhm.
very green. I think that's
Yeah.
great. I've been to other countries in the world, and
Yeah.
sometimes like it's not the same. So it's I think that I'm grateful, that I'm here and
Yeah.
part of this.
We're 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 a leader in the climate change
We
fight.
we are we are. I mean, there's a
Yeah.
lot of things that we're not leaders in, but
No.
this is one that we are.
What's going on with the wildfires, eh? Like, what's going on with all these wildfires out west? Like, it's bananas, eh?
Oh, that's nuts. That is definitely 100% to do with climate change. The temperature's going rising up higher. It's
Yeah.
drier,
Yeah.
and so
Wow. It never used to be
it's a
a problem
mix.
like this.
Yeah,
I never
it's
remembered it.
clear. It's clear. You
Yeah.
probably have heard of the Maldives, right? Like in close to the Indian Ocean. So
Yeah.
the Maldives,
Right.
beautiful, beautiful resorts, absolutely gorgeous beaches. I mean, anyone who sees the Maldives, you want to go visit. It's gorgeous. But
Nice.
according to like just statistics, in the next like 15 to 20 years, it may not even exist. Like the
Oh,
whole
no.
the whole country's gonna go underwater.
Oh,
Uh,
really? Oh,
so
jeez.
yeah, because ocean levels are rising, and so it's just one of those things where it's like you literally you gotta go now and
You
enjoy it.
gotta go now.
You gotta
Book
go now and
that
enjoy it
flight.
before it's gone because
Oh my
it's
god.
it's it's guaranteed to be gone. It's one of those
Wow.
things. And then as you already know this, as the closer time comes before it's gone, the prices are gonna go up because
Right.
it's
Right.
gonna become
Right.
a commodity,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
so
Wow.
it's one of those things that it's like that's an example of it out in the eastern side, but same thing in the west with
Yeah.
us the wildfires. It wasn't such a big issue. I remember actually driving through sort of Banff National Park and then on to the
Right.
Vancouver side on a trip that I made a couple of years ago. And I remember like seeing the wildfires. I actually saw them
Oh,
across,
man.
like, so as I was driving, you could see the mountain ranges and you could see them the other side. So I could literally see the fire. I could see the smoke. It was
No way.
crazy. We were far enough where it wasn't affecting us, but we could still smell it, and we could still feel the heat, which is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Scary.
Yeah, it's very, very scary, and it happened so fast. So it's um, people wonder, like
Wow.
people. I've always thought to myself, I'm like, what? If I was in a wildfire, why wouldn't I just run? Like I'd be fine.
Right.
But
Yeah.
you don't realize how fast the fire,
Yeah.
expands. So
Yeah. It
it's
doesn't
crazy.
really like on TV, doesn't really capture like the
It
scope of
doesn't do it
it.
justice. It's because
Doesn't do
the
it
wind is
justice, no.
blowing. The wind is
Yeah.
blowing, and so it's taking it with it. So,
Mm.
you people and where if you get caught in that, like unless you're wearing a fire suit or something, you're
Yeah.
scorched. Like
You're
you're done.
jeez. Yeah.
So yeah,
Wild stuff.
a
Wild
little bit
stuff.
of a morbid topic, but it's the truth. It's happening.
Wow, that's what that's I mean, I read like the smoke from the wildfires like reached Europe, so
Wow,
that's
wow, that's
wild.
crazy.
That's
I
insane.
didn't hear about that one, but that's nuts.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I don't know. It's kind of so like where's one place you really want to go? Like
On my
where's one
list of
country?
places to go visit.
Yeah,
Well,
like where's
as
the
I
top
mentioned,
list?
The Maldives are definitely on there because I know
Yeah,
they're going to be gone, so I have to
yeah,
visit them.
it's on the list.
Uh, it's on the list. I'd
Yeah,
love to visit like Africa as a continent in general.
yeah.
I've always wanted to go visit. I mean, the wildlife there, you already know this. I love wildlife, so the wildlife in Africa
Oh
is,
man.
is where it's at. I'd
Yeah.
love to go. I heard Tanzania is beautiful.
Hmm.
South Africa, just a few different places, different national parks that I've always wanted to go
Right.
visit. It's definitely there. It's definitely going to happen in the future. It's just I have to
Yeah.
figure
Well,
out logistics behind it, and obviously
yeah.
I want to also be safe when I'm traveling, so I got to just take the right precautions, and I'm sure there's a safe way to do it. So
Yeah.
just making sure you go into it, and and then go there and have a good time, in general. So
Yeah.
Africa as a continent is on my list of places.
Yeah. Be epic.
It's the one continent that I can think of, other than Antarctica, that I haven't been to. So, actually, I haven't been
Yeah.
to Australia either. So Australia's on the list too.
Oh,
You know
well
what?
then
There's so
you can
many
do
places,
both.
man.
You can do both on the same trip. You can hit
Just
Africa and then you just
fly,
swing
and
over
then
to
you can.
Australia.
It'll be such a
Easy.
long flight. You'll be flying like a week
That's when
straight.
you need that's when you need your pilot friend. Your
There you
friend that
go.
wants
There you
to
go.
fly commercial.
There you
This
go.
is when you call him.
They'll be like, when is your next flight out?
Yeah, when are you flying to interested. So
Just
never know, man.
send me your flight schedule
Yeah,
for the next
yeah, yeah.
little while.
Imagine.
I
Imagine.
know.
Oh my God.
Like
I had a
I'll come
friend.
in.
I had a friend in university. He wanted to become a pilot for
Yeah,
like I think Qatar Airlines, and I think
Qatar.
now,
Okay, okay.
yeah, because he was from there. I think now he's
Yeah.
like a pilot for like Air Canada.
Okay.
I saw his
Nice.
picture on LinkedIn, and he does like triple seven, flies 777s all over the world for the air.
Wow, that's amazing,
Like
man. That's amazing.
I'm like, dude, I need to get on one of your flights, man, because we used to just drink beers together.
Wow, that's amazing, man.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, he
phenomenal.
had pictures inside the cockpit and everything. It's like crazy stuff,
That's
man. Like,
beautiful.
that's
It'd be like,
cool.
you know
Yeah.
what? I'll come and I'll be in the cabin. Just take me with you.
Oh man, it'd be so epic. Imagine they could still let people inside the cockpit, which they don't do anymore. But
I know,
he
right?
might, he might, he might, he might, he might swing that. But
Hey, you know what? Hit him up on the offer. Let's see what happens. Maybe
I
the
gotta hit
next
him up. I
podcast will be in
gotta
the air.
on the podcast. Imagine, oh my God, honestly, that'd be a really cool podcast to get a pilot
It
on and
would
just
be.
get
Would
like.
be. It
So
would
how
be.
is it like flying from like here to Australia? Like, what's the deal with that? Like, like you're just an autopilot for like 20 hours or like what?
I know.
Maybe that's what it is. I don't know.
I don't know. I think that's why they have the two pilots. Maybe they switch. I'm
Yeah,
assuming.
yeah. But I feel like once you
They're
get
like,
to
you know
like
what?
cruising, I feel like once you get to cruising, you just go on autopilot. But I could be wrong. I don't know.
Probably. No, probably.
I could
You're
be
probably
wrong.
right about that.
I watched too
I
many
know that.
docs on Netflix.
Yeah, I'm sure they do. I think yeah, maybe like they do. I'm sure they take turns to like especially like I don't know how
Yeah.
long it would take to get Australia. But I know I've been on a flight all the way to like Thailand, and so
Mm,
when I flew that direction, yeah, it was like one way to Japan was about like
yeah.
16 hours, I'd say 14 to 16 hours. So yeah,
Yeah.
long flight.
Yeah.
And yeah, some if they stayed up the whole time, I mean, that's impressive. But maybe they took turns. Like
No, they
I'm
gotta
sleeping for an
sleep.
hour.
Yeah, yeah, they gotta
I'm
take
sleeping for a few
turns.
hours, and then you keep an eye.
Yeah,
I'm assuming something like that.
has to be that way, right? I don't know. I think
Yeah,
it'd be cool to get a pilot on. Just like, so what's the deal with being a pilot?
yes. Give us the ins, right?
I don't know, it seems like a cool job because they got the uniform and they always like whenever I'm at the gate, like the pilots always like walk in like they're like the king,
Oh, they're badass.
king.
They're
Like
badass.
they just like, yeah, we got it. I don't know. They just, I don't know. It
Your
feels like a
lives
very
are in
cool
my
gig.
hands.
Pretty much, like, you just hope the pilot hasn't been drinking then, so
You just hope
pretty much, right?
he didn't graduate on ChatGPT.
Yeah, no, right? It seems, I don't know. I think that's a goal of mine is to get a pilot on this podcast. That'd be super cool. But anyway, we shall
Yeah.
see. We shall see. So what are your plans for
What
this year, man? You got any goals?
this year? Well, this year it's continuing doing what I'm already doing. Continuing
Yeah.
to work hard towards like obviously my photography. Build that journey. Also, obviously do well at work.
Yeah.
Obviously have goals there too, just to make sure I'm a firm believer in everything that I do, I like to do to the best of my ability. That's just
Yes.
how I am. Like if I don't like something, I feel like you naturally want to like shirk it, and so for me, like
Yeah.
when I'm passionate about something, like I go all in. That's just how I am.
Yeah.
And so I think that I have these things I want to build, and other than on a more personal side, I want to make sure I maintain like good health, eat right, go out, work out. I play soccer, so maintaining that. Just a few things, just keeping, because I feel like like health is wealth. If it doesn't matter,
Yeah.
how much money you make, doesn't matter, what you do. If you're not healthy as a person, or you're striving to be healthy, um, there's nothing you can do. So I think that's a big one. I think especially people who are busy. You're busy. You're caught up in doing whatever you're doing. You're so busy being an entrepreneur, or being
Mhm.
it's always important to take that time to take care of yourself, because if you don't,
Yeah.
you're causing yourself problems in the long run.
Yeah. I mean, it's always when you get sick is when you realize, oh, I shouldn't have done that.
I agree. I agree. There you go.
It's always
It's
hindsight,
true.
So it's
Always,
true.
always.
It's true though.
Yeah, man. And your body gives away. Like when you get sick, like you mentioned, there's nothing you can do. You're sitting there like a duck. You're like,
Yeah,
you try
that's
and
it.
take as much medication as you want. You're trying whatever
There's
you
no,
can to get over it. But your life is literally on standstill because your body is like, sorry, nope, And so that's an important reminder of how much you should take care of yourself, because
yeah,
that's everything.
exactly. Yeah, it's huge. I think people should be more like you, man. It sounds like a very balanced
I don't
life.
know,
It's
man.
great. Living legend right here. It's good. You
I
should
don't
write a
know.
book too, man. You should write a book too. Why not?
It's a thought of mine.
Yeah.
I'm like, one day when I'm older, I'm gonna write a book, an autobiography, of all the
Yeah.
crazy things I've done in my life,
It's
and
it's
there are
not
a few.
okay.
um,
I think doing crazy stuff is also healthy too at the same time. Make
Absolutely,
it makes you feel alive a little bit.
yeah, I think that I like to call them calculated risks, like calculated risks.
Exactly.
I
There's always
think that's the key there. Being safe, but also being willing to take a being
yeah,
taking good chances, in life. And
yeah,
uh, uh, I think that that's the best way to experience things. And my trip, like one of my trips, was I mentioned earlier, I trip to Thailand.
yeah.
I went by myself. It was a solo trip, and so it was the first. It was my first trip, like my first solo trip in life, and happened to be like all the way across the world. So like it was
Beautiful.
just one random thing. One day I was, I was bored in winter, and
Yeah.
all my friends were traveling to like Mexico and Costa Rica and all these different places, and I was like, you know what, I'm here at home in Canada. It's freezing. You know what it is. The
Yeah,
winter
yeah.
blues. And I was like, I want to go somewhere. So I was looking at trips to like Hawaii, close by, before 5 hours, I think, or 6 hours, I'm not sure. And then I was like, it's kind of nice. Maybe I should just go to Hawaii and then check it out. And then I was like, you know what, like maybe see what other places are there. And I started watching different videos on YouTube, and I saw this guy talking about like Thailand, and I'm like, hey, like I started looking at the nature and look at like there's the two different sides. There's the cultural side, the city life, the party life.
Yeah.
That's one side, and there's the nature aspect of things, the beautiful oceans, the sandy beaches, the green, mountains and everything. So like, kind of all that. There's two different sides of it, right? So,
Yeah, yeah.
and all the wildlife there, and so I was like, you know what, like let's go. It's kind of nice, and so I literally went on. I was like,
You booked it?
I went online, checked my points online. I have flight points, and I was like, I had enough flights. I had enough points for a flight up and down. I was like, that's it. I immediately booked it,
Wow.
and I literally told some of my friends, I'm like, hey, listen, I'm going to go to Thailand,
Yeah.
and these are the dates. If you want to come, come. If not, that's it.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to like set a whole plan out with people, because
No, you
what
can't do
happens is
that. You can't do it. You can't do
you
that
do
stuff.
it, and then it just never happens. It
You just
just
gotta
stays
book it and say,
forever.
"Meet me." Book it
And
and
that's
meet
literally
me.
what I did.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's what I did, and then
Yeah.
nobody showed up, and I was like, I remember I was a bit nervous. I remember like my as I was going to the airport, I was like, man, like I'm actually doing this. Like like there's nobody here,
The best. The
and
best.
I'm going across the world, and so I remember like I was a bit nervous, and then when I got there, and as I landed in Thailand, and I vlogged the whole thing. I haven't posted a video anywhere yet because I haven't edited it yet. Hours of
Oh,
footage, but
you gotta upload it, man. You gotta make that happen.
one day it will come up for sure. I'm gonna get it done.
Yeah.
Because there's so many hours of footage, and yeah, I made this I vlogged the whole trip, and I'm
Nice.
telling you, man, best experience of my life. Like if I
100%.
had to, like give advice to like a young man,
Yeah.
maybe a young woman too, but a young man,
Sure.
especially speaking from as a young man myself,
Yeah.
I would say to go on a solo trip like that in your life.
Mm.
It teaches you perspective. It teaches you, how
Yeah.
to, learn to be like truly free. Understand
Yeah.
different cultures. Like I said, it teaches you to be safe. Teaches you to, take some calculated risks, things like
Yeah.
that. And also just go out of your comfort zone. I think that that
Huge.
trip definitely changed my perspective on like so many things in life, and I think I came back a changed person. I think
Yeah.
it was beautiful. I didn't want to come back. I was there for like a
No
month and a
kidding.
half,
No kidding,
and it
man.
was I think
Epic, eh?
it's also like that whole at that point, like I said, because I took off work, I was working. It was just imagine, like you're there, you're in a city, you're chilling, you have no one to tell you what to do. There's no agenda. You
Yeah.
have, certain things are there in the city you want to see. There's certain things to go out to the city. So I would wake up in the morning and be like, what do I feel today? I want to get this food. I would just go to this random place. Food is mad cheap. I would get this food, eat
I
it.
know.
I'm like, you know
I
what?
know.
What do I want to see today? And then I would just take a cab, go see something else. You know what? I want to go fly there tomorrow. I would book a flight and then fly the next morning. It's like I would literally
Yeah.
be doing the most random things, like just
It's the
on,
best.
a whim, because I want to do it. I'd fly this one city. I'm like, no, I don't like the city that much. Fly back to the same city. You know what? I can't take a flight back because the flights are all booked. We take a speedboat, pay
Yeah.
some guy to hop in a boat, and then this guy's
Yeah.
flying through the ocean with you, holding your suitcases. It's doing completely ridiculous things,
It's wild,
but
man.
it keeps you. I said that experience made me feel so free, and I was like, you know what? I'm so
Yeah.
glad I did that, and I definitely recommend doing that
Yeah.
as a person growing up. I think it would change your life. But be safe. I don't want anyone to go into
Yeah.
something
It also
completely
gives
ludicrous.
yeah, it also gives people like confidence to be able to like figure things out too.
Absolutely,
Like
problem
because no
solving
one's
skills,
there to
10 on 10.
yeah, like you need to be able to like especially if you're going to a foreign country, like I
Absolutely.
mean English may not be as,
Yep.
spoken
Yep.
there, right? So you need to be able
Yep.
to like communicate and figure stuff out.
Yeah,
So
man. I
there's a
hear you.
whole like list of things that go
There was
along with
definitely some
solo
sign
travel.
language involved in some of the
Yeah, you
conversations I
get the
had to
Google
have.
Translator, there's the pointing, but I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I actually prefer solo traveling more just because like I just like doing what I want when I want to do it and not have
Yeah.
to ask anybody. But obviously, like there's pros and cons to like everything. But I mean, like you said, you just gotta book it and say meet me, or else I'll see you in a couple of weeks, and that's kind of
Yep.
like that's
There you
kind of
go.
it,
There you
right?
go.
So,
That's it.
I mean, if, to me, it's like especially with the pandemic, it's like you never know if you can go. If you got the
Absolutely.
points, if you got the points,
Absolutely, man.
you might as
And
well go now.
it's worth it. Like, as I mentioned, I know that I used points to book that trip technically, but obviously
Yeah,
when I was there, I spent money. But like looking back, even if I had to pay for that trip, like I would not have regretted it. Like there's no
yeah,
way.
of course.
Like
Yeah, of
it
course.
just it's like those experiences you'll never gain them. You'll never gain them until
No,
you're there. So I think
no.
that in hindsight, I've never ever gone on a trip and then later thought about it like, oh man, I should have spent that money.
Yeah,
Not once in my life, and
yeah,
I've traveled a
exactly.
lot, and I've
Yeah,
never felt that way. So I
exactly.
think that it's one of those things that it speaks volumes to the fact that money can't buy you experiences like in terms of like actually
Yeah,
going and experiencing yourself.
yeah. No, I agree
So
with that for sure. Yeah,
money can
100%.
pay for your experiences, but it can't buy you the experiences.
Yeah, yeah. You can use it wisely, kind of thing.
Yes,
It's
exactly.
very
Yeah,
exciting, man. Love it. Love that stuff. Well, we're up against the hour, man. So I just want to say thanks again for coming on.
absolutely. Thank you for
Hopefully you
having me. It was a
enjoyed
great
it.
conversation. Yes, I had a great time talking to you, and
Cool,
honestly, it's
bro.
been
Cool.
very insightful.
Any final words for the people out there?
Any final words? Well, just
No.
be yourself, continuously create, take time for
Yeah,
yourself. I think that's a big one. And as we mentioned a few times in this conversation, health is wealth.
love that.
Take care of yourself. That's the key to success, and always striving to be the best version of yourself. So yeah, that's all I'd
Ah,
say.
nice. Cool, man. Thanks,
There you go.
Andrew, for coming on. Really love the
Absolutely.
chat.
Thank
People
you for having
watching,
me.
listening, check
Yeah.
out Andrew. Links are in the description. And if you need your pet photographed and you're in the Toronto area, your guy. So
Yeah, let me know. I'll be there.
love it
All right.
for sure.
Thank you.
Everyone, and we'll see you next time. Peace.